and then be aware of the entire body. Be aware of the entire body. For the sake of understanding, we have four levels of identification. Sense organs identify. No, first the body. Second is the senses. Third is the mind. Fourth is the false I, or we say ego or I thought. Intellect should understand it clearly. When the intellect understands clearly and the mind follows it 100%, you are in the state of mindfulness from the very beginning. Also, the body identification. So, in order to drop this body identification, uh, so what we do for body, we have place, position, and the posture. Check that the place where the body is sitting is not causing any problem because we don't want any unease from the external environment. So now in the second case, it is being comfortable. That is why I used to always add this step in every meditation. So, what exactly you engage the mind? You engage the mind to look inside or change the direction from the world to inside. That is why. Why we do that? To prevent the mind to get identified with the past impressions. So we make it very simple. You look at the neck joint. You see, now you're looking at the neck joint, not looking at the world outside. And then you look inside, you find the space. And when you find the space, then you experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then you look at the shoulder joints, be there. So, looking at the shoulder joint means that you have left the world outside, but the thoughts may be there. Let the thoughts may be there, but you continue your journey. After all, you are listening to me, you are aware of your room, you are aware of the sitting, you are aware of the laptop, you are aware of the virtual session. So yes, let us be remain aware of it. But what we are doing, our attention is there. Move the mind on the entire body. The body, you look front of the body, back of the body, right and the left side of the body. Then experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So the body identification, we drop this body identification by such a simple step. Those who are beginners, we have to use lot of stuff. Now the sense identification. So there are two steps I'm introducing. One step is quite interesting. Can you look into your eyes by the mind? What it means, the mind looking from the front of the eyes. Normally, it is in the back. So simply your awareness, or I can simply say awareness of the eyes, the first sense organ. What happens? Objects of the eyes do not return. And that is how we take over the mind. How we take over the mind means what? It means it means mind is now servant, not the master. And now look into your tip of the nose from where we feel the smell. So look from the front to your nose. Smell and just be aware. So, what happens? The eyes and the nose are separate from me. Separate from me. So, the smell and image that appears are also separate. Then look into the ears, both the ears from outside, as if the mind goes out from outside to the ears. Ah, so what happens? You become intensively aware of what I'm saying. Object means sound strikes the ears, you hear it, intellect understands it, and the mind has no role to play. Mind does not identify with the past impressions. So we have done the eyes, nose, ears, and the skin. Just pick up the touch, the sensation of the skin you are looking, any part of the body, maybe the face or the neck or any part of the body. And now look at the tongue, the taste. So you see the eyes, object of the eyes, awareness from the awareness means that looking at the sense organ, that is enough. It will separate. Separate means you drop the identification. It's a very subtle process, but we enjoy that. Ears, object of ears means the different sounds. Awareness means looking at the ears. So we see the three things and we recognize they are separate. Taste, no, the tongue. At present, the mind says there is no taste. Oh, it's okay, but we are looking from the front. Taste is an object, and the tongue is the senses and the awareness. Smell plus nose plus awareness separate. What happens? It will break and destroy the past impressions which we have been identifying. Sensation on the skin, the touch, sensation of warmth in the cold and tingling and the numbness, a lot of sensations we experience. So here we introduce easily being carefree. Being carefree, the mental identification. So, what is mental identification? Pain or pleasure, right or good thoughts? The mind always perceives opposites. And any thought that comes to the mind, so recognize or be aware. What is being aware? Thought is equal to object. Any object must be there, otherwise, we cannot have any thought. Object plus knowledge of an object plus false I or I thought plus consciousness. Oh, a thought consists of that. I know you. This thought strikes my mind. So I know you. This thought is equal to an object. What is that object? An is an object plus knowledge of an object. Then the false I thought. That is why I say I know you. Plus consciousness. Without the consciousness, thought, mind, I thought has no existence. Oh, that is what it is. Any thought. The moment you have a thought, I have a stress, is equal to stress is an object, knowledge of an object, plus I thought, plus consciousness. So when you break up, your mind does not start ruling you. Well, you start ruling them. Oh, where is I? I have stress. Mind, you are thinking of the stress in you. Come on. And the fourth identification is crazy. That is the I thought. It is an I thought. It does not exist as some entity. There is no entity at all of I am stressed, I know you. Transactional purpose, we use that. So when we go beyond that I thought, we discover our real self. Intellect always get the right knowledge, but the mind who always rules by impulsive desires, crazy thoughts of the past, wants to reign. And there is a problem of anxiety, duality, conflict, reaction, problem. So once we reach, drop the identification, the best thing to do every day in the morning and before sleep and observe the day and day out. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Now, in that, when we drop the identification, that is the right moment to do any Shanti mantra. So, any Shanti mantra, it is better to say it mentally. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. One more time. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Now, the second step of this mantra is the meaning. Let everyone be happy. So be aware of the world outside, including yourself, and let everyone be happy. You're saying in your mind. Mind is treating the mind. Let everyone be happy. Three times we said it. Now we invoke the intellect, the knowledge from the intellect. How? You simply ask your mind why, what, and how. But why I'm saying that let everyone be happy? Because happiness is our essential nature. Happiness is my essential nature. Oh, well, if it is my essential nature, then it is the essential nature of the entire human race. Yes, Eastern wisdom, that is what the Eastern wisdom says you have to put this knowledge into the Oh, so now it means one happiness is communicating with the other. So what happens? Because I maintain an awareness that happiness is my essential nature, hence the mind is not able to bring its past impression and impulses that the other guy is crazy and reactive. So you drop your reaction. Why? Happiness is the nature of others also. We don't react to the wall. Even if we react to the wall, we come down instantly. The wall is not responding to it. That is the secret of the Shanti mantra, where we apply the intellect and we prevent the mind to become the master. Otherwise, the mind keeps on thinking crazy. So, how can I be in happiness, when that guy is reacting to me and fighting with me? No, but happiness is your nature. You maintain that. So the mind instantly returns to its past impressions and the memories it has inherited, accumulated over the years. So it's a matter of awareness. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Second line. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Santu Niramaya. So we have said it three times. We will repeat meaning three times. Why? We need a repetition. Mind needs a repetition. Intellect needs only the what, answer of what, why, how. So now we have repeated, let everyone be in the state of well being. Let everyone be in the state of well being to everyone. But why? That real self is of the nature of the well being. It is not impacted by any illnesses of the body and the mind. Oh, it is separate. Yes, it is separate. You cook your food in a bowl and you clean the bowl. The food is not the part of the bowl. Coffee machine. Coffee is not the part of the machine. So, intellect is giving the reason so that the mind should accept it. So, it means that I'm always in the state of the well being? Yes, because you are real self. That is unchanging. What is changing will cause the illness. Body is changing, mind is changing, sense organs are changing. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Third line of the Shanti mantra. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. You see that we use both intellect and the mind. We ask the mind to repeat it. But the mind, because of the impulsiveness, because of the habit, it says, what will happen by repetition? Others are not changing. No, I have to change. I don't I have not taken the responsibility for others to change in the world. I have taken my responsibility. You see, the intellect comes and intellect comes down the mind. Mind. So, but the masses, if you literally translate, the masses means that let everyone be blessed. Now, but now intellect proves that. Why everyone should be blessed? Because that real self, the recognition of the real self, showers the blessing and the grace in our life. Oh, so everyone has a real self. So everyone is blessed by themselves. Okay, that is mind. Understand, mind, pick up this. So we are educating and empowering the mind. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, third line, fourth line. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhaved. You see the repetition? Repeat, repeat, repeat. Until what time? Until the mind changes. Until the mind says, now I'm not the master. I will follow you. So let none suffer from misery in this world. Oh, that is the message in the fourth line. Let none suffer from misery in the world. Let none suffer from misery in the world. Misery, suffering, miseries and suffering caused by the ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of knowing our real nature. Oh, so if I don't know my real nature, then only I have the anxiety, duality, and a conflict? Answer is yes. So if other people get angry over me, it means they also do not know the real nature. Oh, that is why they are upset, not because they are upset over me. Do you see the message of the master? Oh, okay. Oh, this guy has a tendency to get upset. Oh, you be upset, but I'm not getting upset because you get upset over me. This mind has to understand by repetition, by regular practice, and then the change takes place. That change is known as evolution and transformation. And the last line we already know. Shanti. First Shanti to the entire world. So you let your mind run outside, become aware of relations, people, things, house, the entire world. Let there be peace. Second Shanti to the unknown world I have yet to discover. And third Shanti is my essential nature. So when we do the practice with contemplation and reflection, even just for about 2 to 3 weeks daily, and what will happen then? Your mind will start reciting this mantra when you are in the kitchen, when you are talking to someone non-verbally inside you. What happened? Mind is changing. Whenever you have an anxiety, you repeat it and it is gone. Whenever your mind wants to react but comes in between the mantra, oh, peace, happiness is my nature. Okay, now let me stop reacting to this guy. He is reacting because he does not know his essential nature. And the movement of, that is the movement of. So by repetition, the mind replaces those impressions, those thoughts and feelings of anxiety and reaction, and we undergo a change. Bring your awareness on the right hand. Bring your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms and know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you feeling?
Okay, fine.
Now you see, mind says, okay, but still it is obsessed with the past impressions. So when I'm saying that happiness is my essential nature because of the past impression, it returns like a volcano. It says, no, I have a chronic anxiety. Intellect says it is only a thought. Are you not relaxed now? But if the intellect does not say it, then the mind says, I am the master. What is that masterhood? Oh, you are an anxiety. Believe it. And then the mind says you went to that doctor who said that you are suffering from chronic anxiety. Then the mind recalls and reminds the past impression you went to New York to have a scan in your mind. Intellect says, what about at this moment? And the mind slowly says, at this moment I feel calm and quiet. Why don't you follow this? Why don't you follow this? We are not talking of any religion, cult, belief. But the mind does not want to follow. What the mind follows? That doctor told me that I had a serious problem. This doctor told me. And you see that my life is full of reaction and anxiety. That doctor told me that I have a chronic anxiety. What it means, chronic anxiety, that I have an anxiety 24 by 7? No. Now the intellect is coming. Intellect says, no, that does not mean. Sometime I'm relaxed. Oh, sometime you are relaxed. Intellect says that continue that moment of relaxation and prevent the influx of the thoughts from the past impression and see what happens. Do you see that? Do you see the truth in it? But what happens, people say the moment this guy comes to me and, my mind is full of stress and reaction. Oh, really? It doesn't touch you. Then what happened? I identify myself. How I identify? I identify myself with the thought, third level of identification with the mind. And that causes, whether the Trump comes or Biden comes or Harris comes, what it has to do, they are too far from me. First thing is that my mind should not become the master. Why? Mind is the worst master. And mind is the worst master, but mind is the faithful servant. Faithful servant of the knowledge. Faithful servant of the intellect. No, but I know. And still it does not happen. You have to repeat it. Mind learns by repetition. I'm picking up the same session little deeper way, and then we will go to the second verse. We will see that contentment is settled in our mind. So we need to understand. So what exactly? Oh, I feel when I chant the mantra, when I practice the meditation, I experience that calmness and quietness. Really? Where the chronic anxiety has gone. So when I experience that calmness and it is not there now. So can I continue to have the same experience? I have to invoke the knowledge. I prevent the mind to become the master. You remain the faithful servant. Mind, recall the peace. Why you are recalling anxiety? This is the movement. This is what we say, the self-inquiry. So self-inquiry not only purifies the mind, but the self-inquiry also reveals that calmness from within. After all, in the modern world, oh, now I have a feeling to get married, then I see the girl or a boy, and then I ask the boy and the girl, so let us date. Why don't you date with the intellect? Intellect is within you all the time. Why don't you date with an intellect? We forget it. What is that forgetfulness? That is ignorance. That is what we say, moving from ignorance to the wisdom. And that is the journey of the self-inquiry. We need to understand mind and it. Now, I have a lot of things to think about in my life. 90% of our thoughts coming from the mind is a matter of concern, is a matter of anxiety. What will happen to Philip mind? How much control you have over Philip? Allow the intellect to come. Let the intellect have a right knowledge. How much control I have over Javier living in New Jersey? How much? What can I do? I can only pass on the knowledge and the wisdom. Is that enough? Yes, that is the only thing. Mind why you are becoming crazy. I don't say it. Why I don't say it? I'm attached to my son and daughter. Identification. So that identification is causing the attachment. Attachment causes the delusion. Delusion causes the foolishness. We have already covered that in detail. You see that? So the mind will try to play the role to let you down as long as it is the master. But when mind is the faithful servant, it follows you like, like, like what? Like your pet dog. It does not go with anyone. So we need to understand this mind and the intellect. Five sense organs and the mind. Senses like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin perceive the external world through the mind. And the information is processed by the mind to create a perception. We are going little deeper. Uh, I'm using the modern word, but it is the principle coming from the Eastern wisdom. The information is processed by the mind to create perception. So now that perception is compared, assessed with my past impression. How can I say you are Anne? So something from the past impression, oh, when I see this image, the name is Anne, so I will address you as Anne. It is okay. It is the normal perception, and we should continue with that because it is not creating any problem. Minus, minus the information, when the mind begins processing that information with the pain, with attachment, with the delusion, that is the problem. It has to process the information. Why Eastern wisdom becomes so challenging and difficult and complex? Because it is the same mind which is a helper and it is the same mind which is a barrier. Mind is clear. I see you, you're my friend, you are close to me, everything is good. But when the same mind perceives differently, then it creates an hesitation. Mind is it is a necessary evil. We have to go with the mind. So that is why the master says we should go with the purified mind. We should not go with the impure mind. See how logical and understanding from the Eastern wisdom. So when the mind generates the thoughts and emotion based on first the perception plus the past impression. Because I should have a past memory about you, then only I can say I am meeting Anne. If I don't have it, then intellect says, who are you? And then you say that, yes, I'm Anne. So now I get the knowledge, and that knowledge is processed by the memory. Now in the memory, it is lying. So the memory is important, but the memory that makes my mind impure and generating the thought and the feeling is the problem. And majority of these thought and feeling is seeking happiness and pleasure from the world outside. It is causing the problem. It is the crazy mind. Now you see what happens in daily conversation. I enjoy communicating with lot of problems. So I'm going directly to the problem. Can you see what I dream? No. Can I see? Can I see what you dream? No. My dream is personal. My thoughts are personal. Now, if we happen to read what thoughts and feelings are going on in the minds either of the Buddha, you and me, we will brand the other guy as a crazy. Even the Buddha is such a crazy guy. Why? Because because the same thoughts are there. Buddha does not have a thought of goodness. I also have a thought of goodness. A criminal also has a thought of goodness towards his family. He wants to kill others, so the thoughts are alike. Very important to understand. Thoughts are alike, then what makes a person Buddha and what makes a person criminal? Now, that is our next question. Buddha does not identify with any thought, good, bad, high, low. We identify with a particular thought in the morning. I identify with an anxiety, so I have an anxiety. You identify with the Shanti mantra, so you are in peace. You identify with a thought that Philip is my son. It is all identification. Do you see? Buddha does not identify with the thought. He uses the thought for transactional purpose. He uses the car for driving. And then he put the car into the garage. His mind is always in the state of mindfulness. That is the difference. That is the only difference. There is no difference. If you think, or if you think wrongly, that means the mind of a Buddha has no thought at all, his memory is washed away, then he cannot teach anything. There is no memory. There is no thought. There is no thought at all. So what he is going to say to me? No. Even someone touches his feet and he says, oh, there is no thought at all. So no thought is not a mindfulness. You are driving your car on the highway. You are aware of all the other cars. No identification. All the let the thought. Then what happens normally? That when you do not identify with these thoughts, the thoughts of the craziness, anxiety, and the reaction and ignorance do not, they minimize. They minimize. One, they do not have any impact. And these mantras will replace those thoughts, which is connected to the real self, and then you will change. That is the only. So some people, when they say that, I was not able to control the thought, they are just a beginner in the journey. What I have to control? Why should I control the thought? Thoughts are not mine. Finished. Why should I control my neighbor? Neighbor is not me. Do whatever you want to do. Just hypothetically, imagine the Buddha looks at a beautiful girl or a woman. So he has to recognize that recognition comes by a thought. But still he is not attached. So when he is not attached, there is no infatuation or sensuality. Then what is happiness is in me, happiness in her. We both are made up of the happiness. Out of compassion it comes. And that is what these people live in the state of the mindfulness. Finished. Why I'm saying so? I'm saying so because when you have a thought of an anxiety and then your manner, your behavior and attitude, everything changes. How do I know? What the heck, I'm not able to understand what happens to the computer. Do you see that? I noticed a couple of times, but I never said you anything. Because moments are not the moments to make you understand. So, if we get to react to one thing, obviously it means I'm reacting to so many things in my life. You see? So, my and mine. Today's message, my and mine. Recognize my car, it's okay. My car is broke, it's okay. I will get it repaired. It is separate from me. It has nothing to do with any reaction and anxiety to me. What that means, no identification. No identification. I had one problem with my computer. I went to the Best Buy, they corrected it. Then I went to somebody else, it corrected, and still there were some fault. Now, should I get upset? No. I said, today is Saturday. I have 3 hours free. I will sit. I went into Google, read everything. I said, no, let me understand it first. I understood all the options and I started applying the options. And the fifth option, computer was fine. Computer was fine. Now, should I react to the Best Buy? You did not do it. Should I react to another guy? You did not do. I know they did not do it, so I have to do it. You see that I have to do it. And that makes your mind free from anxiety, reactions, stress, and the suffering. And we continue the journey of the self inquiry. But now the time has come that we will abide in contentment. In the second verse, that we will take up our next week.
All right. Thank you.